welcome to today's class on part 1. Part 1, this is sort of an orientation class, but I will be doing some regular lesson in variance analysis. Okay, just to give you a taste of what is coming up. Okay, so first, part 1 would have the following subjects, following sections. I will just read to you an introduction. Okay, by the way, part 1 results. Sunil Kumar, could you please mute your mic? Sunil Kumar, thank you. Okay, so part 1, uh, strangely enough, it has a lower passing rate than part 2 of the CMA. I still don't know why exactly, because part 2 seems to me more vast than part 1, but it looks like part 1 having those subjects of internal control and technology, information and technology. Okay, so that technology and analytics rather. So those are the ones which might be bringing the result down. That's what I think. Okay. Because the answers in those theory questions, theory papers would be very close and it would puzzle you. Okay, everything would seem right. Okay, everything would seem right, but there would be something which would be causing a problem. Okay. Right. So I will just go through the topics. What would comprise of part 1? Okay. So part 1 CMA. Yeah. First one is section A, external reporting. Okay. So this paper is basically accounting, right? Mainly accounting. First, it would describe what are the financial statements. That is the income statement, the balance sheet, the statement of cash flows. These are the main ones. Okay. Then statement of changes in equity. Okay. And comprehensive income, I'll put it here, comprehensive income. Okay. Right. So these are the main things and the notes to the accounts. And after that, we'll be studying the elements of each of it. Like, for example, in the balance sheet, we would study from cash, the accounting of cash and cash equivalents, to accounts receivable, to fixed assets, to all the accounting of all the elements, okay, to equity, right? In the income statement, you would study about revenues, the recognition of revenues, right? Recognition of revenues, then accounting for taxes, which comes as a part of the income statement, okay, and certain expenses, accrual of certain expenses, okay, which form liabilities as well. So you'll be studying in detail the accounting of everything. Then you'll study what is comprehensive income, what comprises that. Okay, there are 4 items coming in this, right? Then, of course, this is 100% sure you're going to get a question. 100% sure. Okay, if they don't ask anything else, they would ask you definitely statement of cash flows, one question. Either a classification of a cash into operating, investing, or financing, or a preparation of a statement of cash flow. At one window, they asked us how to prepare a statement of cash flow, and they had given certain items, and you have to prepare the statement of cash flow. Statement of changes of equity are very less tested, if not, maybe not even. Okay, I don't remember any student coming and telling me that they got statement of changes of equity in the exam. Okay, but statement of cash flows, it's always there, at least one question. So you have to be very thorough with this, and I will be spending more time on this. Section A has the weightage of only 15%, but it takes a lot of time. Okay, and I cannot hurry up on this section. So from the teaching point of view, I don't like to teach section A because of the time it consumes, not that because it's not interesting. Okay. And for you guys also, it would take a lot of time for you to study and get to know the concepts. Of course, now they have also added consolidation. Okay, consolidation would be a part of this. Fine. So you can get anything. You can get from consolidation either a multiple choice question or an essay type. Any questions so far? Any questions? Anything you need to be asking me? Yeah, Sunil Kumar, Jay Kumar, Priya, Himanshu, any questions on section A, part 1?
No. No, sir.
No? Yeah, so 15%. Okay. Then there is section B. Planning, budgeting, and forecasting. Weightage, 20%. Interesting, very interesting. Nowadays, they're asking more on strategy in this particular subject. Okay, strategy. They ask you a lot, especially in the essay section. They ask you about strategy, the different kinds of strategy. What I would suggest is, I would also show you the real world strategies which some companies like Apple have adapted. Apple, McDonald's, okay, all these companies have adapted certain strategies, functional strategy or marketing strategy. I would just explain to it briefly. Okay. I'll just show it to you in a nutshell. Uh, in a nutshell, I would just show you the section B topics. Okay. Just a minute. I'll try to find it first. This is section B for you in a nutshell. Okay. Section B, part 1. Okay. It covers everything what you will be studying in section B. First of all, the planning and strategic form, the steps there. Okay. That is, you will have an objective. The mission and vision statement is come from the objective. This is all a top management function. Okay. Until strategy is a top management function. Fine. And under strategy, you will study pest analysis, SWOT analysis, Porter's 5, what you need to get competitive advantages. Okay, the 4 S's, which I will talk to you later about. BCG matrix, these are all very important. Okay, so these are all going to be a part of your strategy. Usually 5 years. Then there is 1 to 5 years plans. Okay, and then there is the master budget, the different kinds of budget, incremental, zero-based budgeting, ABB, rolling, flexible. Now, flexible budget is what we will use in section C also, which I'm going to do today. Okay. So section C, part 1 is nothing but flexible budgeting. Project budgeting, performance budgeting, to name a few. Okay. So these are the budgets we'll be studying. You'll be asked multiple choice questions as well as number questions on this. The master budget is split into operating and financial. Operating, you will study this. The schedules to the operating budget would be the sales, production, direct material budget, direct labor budget, overhead budget, selling and administration, which includes advertising. Okay. And in the income statement, of course, now all this operating schedules will feed the income statement. So there's a connection here. That's why sometimes the income statement will also be called an operating budget, because all those schedules only feed the income statement. Okay. They would ask you the order of preparing budget. They would ask you the order of the entire strategic planning and budgeting process. Okay. Which will you do first? So always remember, the topmost thing which you would do is the objective. Okay. If they're asking you about the whole process, if they're asking you only about the budget, it starts with the master budget, it starts with the sales budget. Okay. Of course, you cannot prepare the balance sheet without preparing the income statement. Okay. So, yeah. So income statement would come, and then you would prepare the balance sheet. And there's a connection between balance sheet. Okay. So basically, this would connect the income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flow, and then capital expenditure budget can be prepared independently. Anybody knows what is capital expenditure budget? Anybody here who knows what is capital expenditure budget?
Can I
Yes.
come?
Yes.
Capital expenditure related of fixed assets in the strategic planning. If we are planning to like expand our business or expanding the business, we need some fixed assets.
Mhm.
So related
Correct.
to that, we have to make a capital
Right,
expenditure.
exactly correct. Okay. So any big
Thank you.
expenditure which is capital in nature means which will not come in the income statement. When you spend it, it will not come in the income statement. Okay. Uh, the revenue expenses like, stationery, salaries, all that would come in the income statement. But capital expenditure as a whole would go as fixed assets, and the depreciation will come to the income statement. Okay, so the depreciation would come to the income statement. All are somewhat connected every time. Okay, and the last budget to prepare after all this is cash budget. It's not to be confused with the cash flow statement, not to be confused with the statement of cash flow. I used a lot of shortened forms here: DL for direct labor, BS for balance sheet, SCF for statement of cash flow. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask me. What is it all about? Okay. Right. Cash budget is the last you would prepare. And this is not to be confused with the statement of cash flow. It is how you are planning your expenses and your inflows and your outflows. When do you plan it to happen? Okay. So that's about that. And that's not all. That's not all. The techniques, the tools and techniques to prepare strategy. Okay. The tools and techniques to prepare. Okay, 1 second. There's something in the way. Okay, the tools and techniques to prepare uh, strategy and helps you in your budgeting would be some of the forecasting techniques, like basically regression. Okay, now in the syllabus change, multiple regression is being introduced. Before also it was there. Hawk textbooks and other providers also included multiple regression at a very basic level. Now we really don't know this how deep they're going to test you the multiple regression. Okay, the providers probably have not updated their texts on this particular topic. So we until the first exam, we really don't know the depth of how much they're going to test multiple regression. Okay, but I would do it a little deeper, looking at other texts. I have plenty of other texts at my disposal. So I would be looking at them and teaching this subject. Learning curve, simulation, sensitivity analysis, which will come also in part 2, section E. So there's a connection. Okay, there is a connection. Regression will come in section F, part 1. So if you study it here, you don't have to study it there. Okay. Probability theory is probably the most tough topic. If many questions are asked in probability, that is when students fail the exam. I have noticed it. Okay. Then risk, uncertainty, and expected value is connected to the probability theory. Okay. Then the pro forma financial statements. Now, these are what are pro forma or model financial statements. After you prepare the budget, you would prepare a model of the financial statements of how it would look. Okay, if the budget is being adapted, how would your income statement, balance sheet, and statement of cash flow? We would not prepare statement of changes of equity or comprehensive income in pro forma financial statements. The techniques or the methods of preparing pro forma financial statements would be discussed. You understand? That is all section B is all about. It's 20% weightage, so that's why I explained it in more detail. Okay? Any questions on this? Any questions?
It's fine.
All good?
Yeah.
Or doubts?
Yes.
Yeah. It's the difficulty level is not much if you go to see. Okay, even though they ask you number questions, probably you can expect more number questions in this area. The difficulty level is not much. I would say that part section A is more difficult than this. Okay, all good. Right. There are no formulas to be by-hearted, both in section A, section B. Okay, right. So that's about it. Then comes, I'll close this. Then comes section C. Okay, section C, part 1, section C, performance management. How much weightage? 20%. Okay, 20%. So basically here what you're going to study, the main course or the biryani of this particular section C is variance analysis. Okay, variance analysis. This I will be touching upon today, right? I will be just giving you an introduction and going quite deep also today on variance analysis, because this is considered to be difficult by some people because they follow formulas. Okay, I would do, now that's what I'm trying to tell you in this particular thing. Do not self-study. If you are taking up my classes, do not attempt to study from any text, the variance analysis. Okay, you will have to only listen to my lectures. Do not read anything. Just directly go in for the multiple choice questions. Okay, because I will not do formulas. I would not put a formula and fit in. That is not my style for teaching variance analysis. Okay, because I notice in the exam also, when they twist the question, some would be straightforward, you can apply a formula. But for some, they would twist it in such a way that you cannot fit the formula in there. You need to be understanding the concepts. So for variance analysis, especially overhead variance analysis, or your overhead variances is considered to be tough. Otherwise, other variances are cool, very easy. Okay. Then after that, we have got things like ROA, return on assets, return on investments, residual income. These are performance measures. Okay, these are called performance measures. They do ask something on this. Okay, and then almost every time question is balanced scorecard. I get feedback from students, and based on that, I see that almost every time, I won't say as 100% as statement of cash flows, but I would say like 90% of the time they asked you balanced scorecard. A theory question, not a number. Okay, a theory question is generally asked and sometimes asked in an essay as well. Very important. Okay, of course, you will get a question on variance analysis, 100%, 100%. Okay, but which variance, we don't know. There are so many variances. Balance scorecard, quite important. All these performance measures may or may not be asked. Okay, got it. That's what comprises of section C, part 1. Any questions? Any questions?
So the weightage would be?
I put there 20%.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, I'm Richa. I am actually not a BCom graduate. So from that point of view, I wanted to ask you if you are starting from section C, would that be fine enough for me to understand that?
Perfect, madam. Section C is where you should be starting. Okay.
Okay.
Not section A. Okay. Because section C is nothing but mathematics. Let me tell you. Which is your background?
I'm BTech.
BTech is
into
all the
IT.
more good. It's good for you to understand this because this is nothing but mathematics. This is no accounting.
Okay.
Okay. You
Sure.
see, this cost and management accounting, the management accounting part, like section C, part 2, also decision analysis, nothing but, I would say, a little high level math.
Mhm.
Okay. Part 1, Section D. Cost management. Weightage 15%. What do we study here? We study the techniques of how to capture the cost into the products. And sometimes using these costs for decision making as well. But the main decision making will come in Section C, Part 2. Okay, this is basically the cost and management accounting subject, decision analysis. Now it's changed to business decision analysis. They changed the name in the new syllabus. Here is to capture the cost, the different techniques to capture the cost into the products. So you have got variable costing, which is basically not to capture the cost, but for decision making. Absorption costing, this is to capture the cost into the products. How do we capture? Process costing, but calculation of equivalent units of production is omitted. This was a tough part of process costing. I wonder why they removed it. Sometimes I feel they should have retained it, but maybe. See, IMA takes a consensus. Okay, it takes a consensus of the industry about what they are using, what are the topics that we study are being used in the industry. And if they get a feedback that EOP is not used anywhere, they would probably drop it from the syllabus. So that's what they've done. They're not going to study, we are not going to study EOP, which makes me wonder what else is there in process costing. Very little else. Okay. So let us see the new texts, how they are going about process costing. It's going to be very easy for you, I guess. Okay, because the main topic, EUP, equivalent units of production calculation, has been dropped. Fine. Then you have job order costing to actually how to capture the cost for unique jobs like road construction. Okay, like a motorcycle service station. So that way. Okay. So variable costing, absorption costing, process costing, job order costing. And in this variable and absorption costing, 100% sure you will get one question. 100%. I've seen every time you get it. Variable versus absorption costing, the difference between them. Okay. Right. And there are various other small topics, which from the top of my head, I cannot remember. So these are the main. Okay. So these are the topics included in cost management. Easy to score if you understand the variable versus absorption costing. Of course, there's activity-based costing also. I forgot this. Okay. Right. I might have forgotten some of these, many small topics in under this. The theory of constraints was there before. Now they have dropped it. It is called theory of constraints. So you don't have to worry about what is dropped. Just look at what is there because the latest syllabus. Yes, you have to buy the latest syllabus. Otherwise, you will be studying all the topics which will not be tested. Okay, see that you have the latest syllabus. That is the first step you have to see to. That's it. Any questions on this? Any questions on this?
This process costing is no more there, no? Correct?
No, process costing would be there.
Would be okay.
Okay, it would be
Yeah.
there, but the equivalent units of production, the calculation of equivalent production units of production will not be there. You don't have to do that.
That
That
is
is
being
the main
removed
thing in
now.
process costing.
That is being removed now, or it's not in
It's
process
removed.
costing?
It's removed now for this window. It is removed. From
Okay,
September,
fine.
October, it's removed. Okay.
Fine. Yeah.
I'm curious to know at what level they would test consolidation in section A. Because in a CA paper, consolidation question in CA and Indian CMA, it's called holding companies instead of calling it consolidation. Okay. There is also a 15-mark question on this to prepare the balance sheet and income statement. A heavy weightage on Indian professional exams, but I doubt whether they would test it to that level under the US CMA, but I'm sure it would be quite deep. Okay. Any questions? Of course, here also I remembered one more topic called cost of quality. Okay, cost of quality. This also is quite important. Okay, yeah. So this would comprise section D, cost management. Any questions? Nothing? Nothing?
I
Okay.
have a question.
Yeah.
I'm Mahesh.
Yeah, Mahesh Subramanian, I can see you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is one thing I saw in section D. It's called backflush costing.
Ah, yes.
That is, and it is, I
It's a
think,
small
related.
topic. That's why I did not put it there as such.
It's related to just in time, I guess.
Correct. It's
But
just,
can you just explain that once?
okay, you want me to explain Justin? I'll be explaining it to you in detail later. See, one thing. Okay, now I'll remove this. Any other question on this? On section D?
No.
Backflush costing, if you study in text, no, it's very difficult for you to understand. Okay, you will wonder what they're talking about. See, generally, what is the accounts to be maintained when you do a regular manufacturing, not just in time? Okay, you would buy direct material. Okay, direct material would go into the work in process account. Okay, so you will buy here. Okay, there would be opening stock, there will be purchases, then there will be usage. Okay, the usage will be credited to WIP. Okay, so you will get direct material here. And then from the work in process account, it would go to the finished account because this direct material will come into the finished goods. Okay, and finished goods, it will flow from WIP to finished goods account. Okay, from finished goods account, it would go to the cost of goods sold account. So that is the final P&L account. So this is the income statement account. All these are balance sheet accounts, right? All these are balance sheet accounts. So cost of goods sold, it will go here. And then any variances also will be closed here. Okay, overhead variances. So you will not understand the overhead variances if I tell you now. I will be explaining in detail later. This is the cost flow of a traditional inventory system. Okay, but when they argue now, we will do lean accounting. That means we will not do so much of accounting in backflush costing because just in time is being adopted. Okay, in backflush costing, it is in conjunction with just-in-time inventory. Now, what is just-in-time inventory? You tell me, please. Mahesh, do you know what is just-in-time?
Yeah, yes, sir. So that it's like we don't keep any inventory at all, very minimum, and just the inventory should be sufficient for the production to be done. That's it. I mean, to the extent whatever is required.
No finished goods also.
No finished goods also. Yeah.
When the order comes, it's like this. Okay, this is the factory. This is the factory. They would have few suppliers around. Okay, close to the factory. When they get an order, they will pull the inventory from one of the suppliers. Okay, manufacture it, and finished goods will go to the, not to the showroom, to the customer itself. It happened, this all from Toyota. These techniques is got from Toyota only. Basically, they only thought about all these issues. Okay, so when there is no inventory, the argument is, why keep all these accounts? Why keep all these accounts? So they would keep one account. That is the cost of goods sold. You understand? Right. They keep a cost of goods sold because you don't have inventory, you don't have anything. Okay, you don't have WIP also because there will not be WIP inventory. Otherwise, a general manufacturing company would have three kinds of inventories: the direct material, the work in process, and the finished goods. Okay, so what they thought is everything is got in time. So let us account it all in the COGS itself. Okay, DM, direct material, direct labor, overhead, everything is debited here. Okay, then finished goods is credited and making it 0. This finished goods will not go to finished goods account, it will go to the customer directly. Okay, so you can even put the customer name there. Okay, for temporary, you might go to finished goods, and from finished goods, it would immediately leave. Okay, as say, okay. So in other words, no need. 1 minute. There's no need of finished goods. 1 minute. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. See, with a cost of goods sold, what happens? It's a debit, is it not? Okay, so wait. There is no credit here. I'm sorry. Okay. So in the cost of goods sold account, it's a debit account, is it not? Okay, the sales will be a separate account. So all the cost of goods sold, direct material, direct labor, overhead, everything is accounted here itself. Okay, and this will be the cost of finished goods. This is nothing but the cost of finished goods. There's no credit to this account. I made a mistake. Okay, right. So everything accounted here. But why is it called backflush? The reason is, you see, nothing is perfect. Even in just in time, there might be some inventory left. Okay, there might be some inventory in the form of WIP or in the form of finished goods. Small amounts of inventory. So what they will do, the value of that WIP is flushed out from the COGS account. You understood? From the COGS account, for example, just try to understand, okay? If there is some small amount of WIP, what they would do is credit COGS, debit WIP, okay, with an approximate standard, based on standard costing, they would value the WIP and remove it from the COGS account. They'll flush it out from the cost account and put it back into WIP. See, generally, from WIP, it's going to finish goods and then COGS, is it not? This is back flushing. It is back flushing from the COGS to the WIP in backflush costing. Okay, that's why it's called backflush costing. Generally, from the WIP, it will go to COGS. But here, from the COGS, if WIP is remaining, it will go to WIP from the COGS. Similarly, there might be 1 or 2 finished goods which are not sold. Okay, all the sold finished goods will be the debits of in the COGS. Some which is not sold, they would value it, maybe 1 or 2, and put it to the finished goods account in the inventory. You understood? Generally, from finished goods, it goes to COGS. Now, from COGS, we are putting it to finished goods. That's why it's called back flush. We are flushing it back. You understand? And what if this valuation is not proper? Generally, this valuation will not be 100% accurate because based on standard cost, we are putting it in the WIP and the finished goods. So what if it is not accurate? Because the amount is not material. You understood? The amount is not significant. There is so small WIP and so small finished goods. Amount is not significant, so it doesn't matter. So see here, this is lean accounting. We have got rid of, we are not maintaining direct material. We are not maintaining WIP. Sometimes if there is little bit WIP, we would backflush it from the COGS to the WIP. We are not maintaining finished goods. Sometimes if there is a small amount of finished goods, we would backflush it from the COGS and value the finished goods. We will maintain everything in COGS because everything is coming and going. Everything is going to become cost of goods sold. So why not account it in cost of goods sold itself? You understand? This is the concept of backflush costing. Did you get it?
Are we doing this process monthly or like annual basis? Backflush account
Depends
costing?
on when they get the order. Okay, and depends
Okay.
their company policy of
Like
closing.
before month closing and all we have to do.
Yes, they can do it to get the monthly sales.
Mhm.
Because at
To
any
get
point
the
of time, there is
accuracy.
no inventory. You understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Everything is
Yes, sir.
accounted in
Yeah.
COGS.
Understood, sir.
Got it. So this is the way they would backflush it. Why are they called it backflush? It's coming reverse order from the COGS to the WIP and finished goods. Okay. Got it? Yeah, it's a very interesting concept actually, right? How they are breaking the stereotypes of accounting. Okay, how they thought about this innovative way of accounting, right? Rather than the regular one. Very nice. Right, so this is about backflush costing. Then you have section E. Section E. Internal control. Weightage 15%. So here basically all the kinds of internal control. It is purely theory. You won't get a single number here. Okay, right. The system, basically it is governance. Governance is how a company should be ruled. And what you study here is the COSO components, which are 5 components and 17 principles. Okay, the 3 objectives of internal control. Okay, 3 objectives of internal control, and yeah, and of course the main topic here is the SOD, which is one which forms a part of the cost of components. What is SOD? Segregation of duties. The most confusing part of internal control, segregation of duties. So you need to be knowing the components very well. And it's 17 principles, not you don't have to by heart it, but components you have to by heart. Objectives of internal control you should know.
Is it linked to internal auditing like that?
No. Internal audit would safeguard the objectives of internal control. We don't have internal audit. It used to be there in CMA, they removed it. Okay.
But there is also SOD, like a segregation of duties and all that.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. Audit reports or audit opinions is a part.
Okay.
Okay, the adverse opinion, the external auditor's duties, all that is a part. So little bit of audit you will be studying. The audit risks. The audit risk is equal to the detection risk into the control risk and the inherent risk. All this you'll be studying.
It's there, okay.
Okay, so but not a very deep audit. Okay, so audit, internal audit would see that the objectives of internal control are achieved. They would ensure it. Okay, and in addition to that, you have SOX, the legislations. Okay, that is Sarbanes-Oxley Act, and the FCPA, the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. This is what you have to study. And with this, there is systems control as well. Where in the computer systems, how you would do the controlling on that. Internal control for computer systems. The general internal COSO components is extended to the systems control. The objectives of systems control also is the same. Okay. Now, system controls, whatever you study here, has a strong connection to section F, information and analytics. Okay, it has a strong connection. So you study this, you are almost studying section F also. But section F is more detailed on information, technology, etc. Right? Any questions so far? Any questions? You can ask.
Some control related to IT?
Yes.
Like IT stuff like software and how the security.
Yes. Exactly. You'll be studying that quite deeply.
Okay.
Studying it quite deeply. Okay. So, right. So that is about that. Any questions on this internal control? Difficult to score, huh? I'm telling you. Do not underestimate. Generally, I see students, what they do, they attend all the other, like section A, section B, section C, even section D. Section D also, many theoretical topics are there. Okay, but section E, you find them vanishing, thinking, theory, we will manage. No, this is where you will fail. Okay, this is where you're going to fail. Section C, section E, and section F. Okay, because both of them together form 30%. Okay, it would mean between passing and failing. So do not underestimate this. Attend the classes. Okay, attend the classes because discussion takes place and you can remember certain things rather than reading it. It's boring to read. Classes also will be boring, let me tell you. Okay, right? It's not a standard stand-up comedy which I can make interesting. Certain topics are boring, but very practical. It depends on your interest. See, boring or not depends on your interest, but it is theory. It can get monotonous. Okay, so it can be made interesting by you guys asking questions, okay, having debates, etc. Fine. Any questions on this? Section F is all to do with information technology and analytics. Okay. Here you would study everything. And it's also weightage is 15%, quite a high weightage. Yeah, here you will study, and more topics have been introduced here in the new syllabus. So there is AI in more depth. Okay, then robotics, right? And so many other things that data analytics, data science. Okay, and the control aspects, right? Information systems, and also analytical tools like the regression analysis, the box plot, so many things you'll be studying. And they will be also studying about viruses that you'll be studying even in system control. Okay, worms, and all the other what you call malicious software. Okay, so all those also you'll be studying. Malicious software is software which causes harm to you. Okay, so I've listed out only a few here. There are many more you will be studying under this, all related to information technology and analytics. So after studying this, you would be familiar with most of the terminologies which the IT department uses. Okay, and in addition to that, you would learn the tools to analyze data. Okay, right, you'll study about big data and so many other things. The internet, the firewalls, all that, 15%. The level of difficulty, they don't go very deep. Okay, but yeah, certain terminologies will have to be known. Any questions on this? Under the new syllabus, a lot of material has been added to AI, because now that is the trend, and into data analytics. Okay. COBIT has been deleted. This was the body governing data governance. Okay, so we don't have to study about COBIT. Before it used to be there, now it is removed. Okay, just like COSO brings about guidelines for internal control, COBIT was the body which brings about guidelines for data, where data governance is concerned. Okay, so that they told that has been omitted or deleted. Okay, that's about it. That's the syllabus for you for part 1, section part 1, basically part 1 CMA. Any questions? Okay, for section F, do an extensive reading. Okay, keep on reading about things. It's coming in the papers even. In fact, in Times of India, there's a separate page on techies, they call. Okay, so there they talk a lot about AI. They talk about special terminologies like, the tools to actually dig out information from big data like Hadoop. Okay, so all these kind of terms are explained in the paper, and it's also there in your syllabus. Okay, you will find many strange names here, which you have to do research and get the meaning. But most of it I will be explaining in the class. But still, there might be some which you don't know, which you may have to ask me. I also like to do research on strange terms. Okay, because this is not my core subject. Remember that. Okay, this is not my core area of expertise. It is probably a BTech. Miss Richa, in what you have done your BTech?
I have done in IT, but not to the hardware side, to the software side. But
Okay, so this will be your favorite subject if you ask me.
correct, yeah, information system, AI, robotics.
Yeah,
Yes.
so this is your core area of expertise, not mine. Okay, so
Yeah.
mine will be basically what I have faced in work based on my experience and book knowledge.
Yeah, but yeah, from work side, I haven't worked much onto it because I have moved into SAP FIC also.
Okay, but still, that is still into the information
Correct.
technology. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, this will be your area of expertise. I'll be asking you questions on this. Okay, not the other way about. You don't ask me, please, madam. Your questions will be too high level for me. Okay. So yeah, but do ask. I do encourage. I want to be in a fix where I have to go and do some research. Fine. So yeah, so we could help out each other if you join for part 1. Okay. So that's it. So this is about section F. That's the syllabus. That's the syllabus, or maybe less than that. We will talk about variance analysis. Section C, part 1, 20% weightage, variance analysis, the main part of section C. What is the meaning of variance, guys? Anybody? What is the dictionary meaning of variance?
Change.
Difference.
Yeah, since we'll wind up for today.